The forest held its breath. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows that danced on the forest floor. A stifling silence hung in the air, broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures and the distant, mournful cry of a crow. Deep within this secluded woodland, shrouded in an almost tangible sense of dread, stood an abandoned asylum. Its crumbling facade, once a pristine white, was now a canvas of decay, stained with the grime of ages and overrun with clinging vines. Broken windows, like vacant eyes, stared out blindly, reflecting the growing darkness of the approaching twilight. Locals spoke of the asylum with hushed voices, whispering tales of unspeakable horrors that unfolded within its walls. It was a place of sorrow, a monument to suffering, forever scarred by the an almost possessive jealousy. Within its walls, the echoes of screams and whispers lingered, a chilling testament to the darkness that thrived within.
See? Nothing to be scared of.
This place is amazing. Imagine the stories these walls could tell.
Maybe we should rethink this. This place has a bad vibe.
Come on, Hamid. Don't be such a scaredy cat. It's just an old building.
Beware the shadows. They hold the darkness that never truly left.
This is exactly what I was afraid of. This place is cursed. We need to leave, now.
As if in answer to his words, the temperature in the room plummeted, a cold draft swirling around them. The hairs on the back of Ali's neck stood on end, and even his skepticism wavered in the face of the sudden, inexplicable chill. The shadows in the room seemed to deepen, twisting and contorting at the edges of their vision. The silence was shattered by a sudden ear-splitting crash from the floor above, followed by the sound of echoing laughter that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once.
What was that?
Panic flared in Sarah's eyes, her earlier excitement replaced by a growing sense of dread.
I don't know, but I think it's time we get out of here.
They turned to leave, but the door that had been behind them was gone, replaced by a solid wall. Panic welled up in their chests, constricting their throats and stealing their breath. The asylum was changing around them, the corridors twisting and turning, leading them in circles. The air grew thick with the scent of decay and the feeling of unseen eyes watching their every move. They were trapped. The flickering beam of Ali's flashlight illuminated the faces of his friends, their features pale and drawn in the dancing light. Fear, raw and primal, had replaced their initial curiosity. The air crackled with an unseen energy, raising goosebumps on their skin. Hamid, his logic failing in the face of the unexplainable, sank to his knees, his eyes wide with terror.
We're trapped. We're going to die here.
Sarah, her adventurous spirit momentarily forgotten, clung to Ali's arm, her nails digging into his flesh.
We have to get out of here. There's something evil in this place.
The temperature continued to drop, the air growing frigid as icy fingers traced patterns on their skin. A low, guttural growl resonated through the hallway, seemingly emanating from the very walls themselves. The shadows danced more violently now, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to mock their fear. Then, with a suddenness that made them jump, the lights from their flashlights flickered and died, plunging them into an impenetrable darkness that was somehow deeper and more absolute than the darkness outside. Terror, cold and consuming, gripped their hearts. In the suffocating blackness, their senses were heightened, every creak and groan of the old building amplified, every rustle and whisper magnified. Panic threatened to overwhelm them, turning their fear into a living, breathing entity that stalked them through the corridors. Suddenly, a pair of icy hands shot out from the darkness, clamping down on Sarah's arms. She screamed, a shrill, desperate sound that echoed through the empty halls. Ali lunged forward, his hands grasping at empty air as Sarah was dragged back, her screams abruptly cut off as if swallowed by the shadows themselves.
Sarah.
They cried out in unison, their voices hoarse with terror. They stumbled forward, their hands outstretched, desperate to reach their friend. But the darkness held her captive, concealing her from their grasp. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay and the lingering echo of her scream, a chilling testament to the unseen force that had claimed her. Terror, raw and consuming, threatened to drown them in its depths. They were alone, lost in the darkness, hunted by something ancient and evil. Blindly, they stumbled through the darkness, their hands brushing against cold, damp walls. The air was thick with the feeling of unseen eyes watching their every move, the silence broken only by their ragged breathing and the frantic thudding of their hearts. Then from the depths of the asylum came a sound that chilled them to their very core. It was a low, mournful wail, filled with an eternity of suffering and despair. It seemed to seep into their bones, resonating with a primal fear that spoke of things best left undisturbed. As the wail reached its crescendo, a figure began to coalesce in the darkness before them. It was tall and skeletal, its form shrouded in shadow, but its eyes burned with a malevolent red light that seemed to pierce through them. A cold, deathly chill emanated from the figure, sending shivers down their spines. They were paralyzed with fear, unable to move, unable to breathe as the figure glided towards them, its silence more terrifying than any scream. The asylum was alive, its very walls pulsating with a malevolent energy that seemed to feed on their terror. They had stumbled into a place of unspeakable evil, and it had claimed them as its own. The curse of the abandoned asylum lived on, a testament to the darkness that can linger long after the lights have gone out.